Hey, we just wanted to say thanks for a great year, great safety year last year. So we're having a little lunch to celebrate it. We're going to have some information we're sharing a little bit later about how we did last year and then what our goal is for this year. And I think Dale and Andy East have a few giveaways. And then, so we're going to go ahead and get started eating. We'll start with this table. I think they're both good on both sides. And then this table. Hey everybody, let's thank the cooks. We had Chris Kemp outside, and myself, and then we had Tina, and Yasmina, and Marlene to set everything up. Let's give them all a round of applause. If your hamburger was burnt, it's Chris's fault. So last year, 2013, our goal was to have no more than 4 recordables. Who can tell me what a recordable accident is? Mimo, what is it?
Whoever gave one to the doctor, is considered as a recordable.
All right, so if you have to go to the doctor, that's a recordable. And what else? If you miss work, that's a lost day, a lost time. So you can have an accident that's not a lost time accident. So that means you're back at work the next day. And so last year we had 0 lost days. So it means the accidents that we had, even though we had an accident, we don't want to have any, they were not bad enough where somebody couldn't come back the next day and go right back to work like Steve did. He's back doing the same job. Are you running a crane today, Steve? So Steve's able to go back even though he had a fracture in his finger and had 2 stitches. He was back. So everybody did a really great job. We just wanted to celebrate that. And then Andy's going to come up and talk a little bit about just some of our metrics.
Guys, before we start going over a few tables that we have to show some of the stats about what we've done over the previous years, I just want to commend you all, the way you conduct yourselves and the skills that you show every single day here at Smith-Midland. Just to give you an example, going back to Steve yesterday, obviously a recordable accident is where you have an injury and you require treatment, but if you prescribe medication or you wear a medical device like a brace, it can become a recordable accident. But up until that point with the x-ray and everything else that Steve went through, it was not. But once he had medication prescribed and he actually wore a brace, that became a recordable accident. So the precautionary measure we took yesterday was to make sure we got him to the hospital. So at the hospital, and this is the crazy part about records, and there's a lady there who registers for workers' compensation, potential workers' compensation claims. I've got to know her well over the last 2 years. And I've been up there 5 times, and this is the first time when I seen her, she said, "Hello Andy," she said, "I'm so pleased that I haven't seen you for such a long time." And that is pretty good. It explains exactly where we are with our safety and our safety culture at Smith-Midland, is that she was very aware that, and when we told her our record, we were having a lunch today, and we explained that the reason why, she commended us tremendously, and she said that in an industry like the precast industry, it's just incredible that you have such a good safety record. And you all deserve a pat on the back for making that happen. So I'd like to go on to some of the tables. This first one is just a comparison of where we were over the past 4 years. And as you can see in 2010, our experience mod factor, which is so crucial, for our workers' comp insurance, every year, premium every year, was at 1. And currently we've made our way down to 0.79. And that's pretty incredible when in industries, heavy industries like ours, to get to 0.79 is very low indeed.
I wanted to ask a question. Does anybody know what the implication is to our company when we're above 1.
Can't work on certain projects.
That's right. Some of our customers won't work with us if our experience mod is 1.0 or above. So y'all were able to get us down in 2012 to 0.85 and then 0.79 in 2013. And the reason they don't want to work with us is some of our customers are self-insured and they want to work only with safe companies.
But if you look down the whole the list on this table, you can see on the far right-hand side from 2010, everywhere we've made the improvements. And for 2013, the incident rates are what were monitored by OSHA tremendously on. Not just by the recordable rate, but the severity rate too. And if you're looking at line 2, from 6.2 down to 2.7, fantastic. The days away from work got restricted duty, 395 to 0.68. Virtually nothing is very good also. Lost work days has got to be the most important of all. Like Ashley explained earlier, we can have incidents and small accidents that are not severe enough for somebody to have time off work. And when you look at an accident, the most traumatic thing to go through is not just the injury and the pain that I seen Steve go through yesterday. I'm not going to mention that, Steve, but the fact is it's traumatic not just for the person, for everybody around them, their family, their colleagues. So it's pretty traumatic when you have a day away from work and recovery. So to be at 0 for last year was very good indeed. When you look at the severity rate, it looks at lost time accidents, but also accidents where we had to put people in different departments with restriction. And we only had one last year, and that was for approximately 12 days. And that one sort of put our severity rate up to 8.12, but an incredible reduction from 2010. OSHA recordables were at 4, and we said we had set a goal of 5. Next year's goal is 2. This year's goal is 2. We've already had 1, so we're going to work just as hard this year as last year to make sure we have no more. Number of injuries with lost days, 0. Fatality, 0. Slightly down on man hours this year, but in a way that makes it tougher to get your percentages right, because the more hours you work, then obviously the more risk there is. So I think that's a tremendous achievement and a great way to actually, see right in front of you the improvements that you've all made. It's fantastic. Well done. One thing that we've also gauged around, we just mentioned how important it is to have a modification factor for workers' comp to get work with government and military, but also it affects what the premium that we pay for our workers' compensation insurance. And one thing we always get gauged by as well is the Bureau of Labor Statistics, where it takes every industry, the labor, if you look at the Department of Labor, take every company, every industry, and they look at the accidents, time away from work, and what happens. And very often, even with precast awards, they look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics to see where we're at. And if you have a look at our code, our NEICS code, 32739 for other concrete product manufacturing. If you look at the rates nationally, we are well below those rates. We have a 7.8 for total recordables as the national average. Ours is at 4. When you look at the total of cases with days away from work or job restriction, the average is 4.2 total, ours is 1. We're 0 for cases away from work, and we're 1 for cases with job transfer, which is well below the national average. And in other recordable cases, we're at 3, when the national average is 3.6. This is the OSHA Form 300 that we actually fill in every year, but what we can look at there is we look at when the accidents happened, where they happened, and the amount of time away from work or if they're restricted duty. And so this is monitored by OSHA, and so you have to keep track of this with every single accident that takes place at the factory. Last one. And this is the last form to look at, and this is what we're going to be posting at the beginning of February every year, which is mandatory requirement by OSHA. It's the 300A, and on this what we actually have to do is report exactly the amount of hours we work, the amount of people that work here, and the amount of accidents and types that took place here. And once again, this is looked at very critically by OSHA, so the fact that we've done so well is very good indeed. And so OSHA are looking at this, and if it was very high, we would have a visit from OSHA pretty quickly, I assure you. So once again, before I want to look at this, I just want to comment one more time that you really have got to applaud yourselves for the performance last year and continuing to do this in the future. Absolutely tremendous performance. So well done, guys.
All right, thanks, Andy. Hey, thanks everybody for a great year. Safety. Let's do it again next year. And there's more food back in the back if you want some. Thanks. Cheers.